talk about skydiving. Has anybody been skydiving in this room before? Has anybody ever gone skydiving? No? Does anybody want to go skydiving? Really? Okay. Maybe we should like go do that as a group. It really scares me, but I kind of want to do it. When you go skydiving, does anybody know how high up in the air you are? It's like over 10,000 feet up in the air. It's really up there. When you jump out of that plane, your body is free falling at like 115 miles per hour. It's really intense, right? So good morning, guys. Good morning. So we're talking about skydiving. Have any of you ever gone skydiving before? No. Okay. So I was just talking about how when you go skydiving, you're 10,000 feet up in the air. When you jump out of the plane, your body's free falling at 115 miles per hour. And so if we all pretend in this room that we're going to go skydiving, all right? So all of us get together in a plane. We're all going to go do it. The plane opens up, and this half of the room jumps, and this half of the room doesn't jump. Who experienced more fear? The half that didn't jump, okay? So the half that did jump, do you guys think that they experienced fear? Were they scared? Yes, but they experienced less than this side? That's what we agree on? Okay, I would disagree. I would say that the two groups experienced the same amount of fear. The people who jumped were just as scared as the people who didn't jump. I would argue that the half of the room that jumped just did it scared, right? And so I want to tell you a story this morning about doing it scared. I want to tell you a story about this woman who was trapped in a burning building. She was up on the 88th floor of this building, right, when the fire alarms went off. And this woman had a really intense fear of heights, and she was claustrophobic. What's claustrophobic mean?
Small spaces.
She's really scared of small enclosed spaces, right? So the fire alarm goes off in this building, and all of her coworkers start going to the stairwell to get down to safety, right? Because she's scared of heights, and because she's scared of small spaces, she says, no, I can't go. I can't do that. She cannot fathom going to the stairwell and being able to look down and see down to the bottom of this building 88 floors down. And the thought of being trapped in this small staircase scares the hell out of her, right? So she doesn't do it. She hides under her desk and she says, I'm just going to wait here to die because I cannot face my fears of going down this stairwell. So a fireman comes into the building and goes up to the 88th floor and finds her up on the 88th floor, and he starts to drag her to the stairwell. And she's kicking and screaming, saying, I don't want to go. I'm scared. I can't do it. And the fireman looks her in the eye and he says, that's okay. Do it scared. And so they get to the stairwell, and every single floor, 88 floors down to the bottom, he looks at her and says, it's okay. Do it scared. She didn't experience any less fear. She just did it scared. And she gets to the bottom, and her life is saved, and do it scared kind of becomes her new mantra for life. I think fear is like friction. All right? I'm not a car person at all. I don't know a thing about engines. Okay, but I know inside of an engine, for your car to be able to move, there's this piston that moves up and down, right? And we have to put oil in our car for it to be able to function correctly, right? If our car has no oil, then the engine's not going to go, right? Courage is like the oil for your car. We need that courage. Our brain needs that courage to be able to perform correctly. Just like an engine in a car, without that oil, it's going to overheat and it's going to lock up. When we grab onto fear and our chest starts to tighten up and we start to get scared, okay, if we grab onto that feeling of fear, our brain locks up. And so we have to use this courage as oil to be able to function correctly. When you experience fear, you have two choices. You can back away from it and say, no, I'm not going to do that. And when you do that, your courage muscle gets weaker. Or you can lean into that fear. You can embrace that fear and say, yeah, I'm going to do it scared. And that muscle gets stronger, right? We talked earlier this week about how it's just like lifting weights down in the weight room. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Nelson Mandela said that the brave man is not the man who doesn't experience fear. It's the man who overcomes that fear. And so my encouragement for all of you guys this morning is to stop running from the tough stuff. Stop looking at obstacles as obstacles. Look at obstacles as the training ground for greatness. Strength is only built through resistance. Diamonds are only formed under pressure. Gold is only formed through fire. Start leaning into that fear. And when you do, you're going to be really shocked at the person that you start to become. How many times raise your hand if you've ever had this happen to you before. How many times have you ever gone down this what if rabbit hole? Let me give you an example. Let's say I play basketball and the game's tied, the game's on the line, I get fouled with 2 seconds to go and I got to step to the free throw line. And I start thinking, what if I miss this free throw? Right? What if I miss this free throw and I lose us the game? If I miss this free throw, lose us the game, then coach is going to yell at me. My teammates are going to hate me. Right? And then you start going down this rabbit hole and it just starts getting worse and worse and worse, right? How many times has somebody ever had that happen to them? Yeah, it happens to me all the time. When we experience that fear and we start to feel those butterflies in our chest start to tighten up, we have to reframe that. Because I've never met someone who doesn't experience fear. I've never met somebody who never experiences fear. So we can't run from it. If we can't avoid it, then there's no sense in running from it, right? What we have to do is when we experience it, we have to reframe it so it means something else to us. You know, my mentor Jamie said that when he used to experience fear, he used to have that self-talk of, oh, this is where you're going to screw up. That self-talk that so many of us have, right? And so instead, what he started to do is when he started to feel that in his stomach, in his chest, he started to say to himself, this is where the goodness happens. He just changed the meaning of what that feeling meant to him. You guys have all heard that you never grow inside your comfort zone, right? So when you feel that, say, okay, I'm growing. This is where the goodness happens. This is beneficial for me. This is making me better. And when you start to reframe that, really good things start to happen. So my encouragement for you today, if we understand that leaning into fear is like building up that courage muscle, my encouragement for you today is to do one thing today that scares you. Do one thing today that scares you.